but I didn't play.
Welcome to Beyond the Booth here. You kind of caught us in the middle of a conversation here, everybody. But welcome to Beyond the Booth. Sorry about the delay. Was having trouble with the getting a line to get out, but we're here now. Howard chatting along with the man way to my left over here, maybe to your right, depending on how you're looking at it. Phil Harris, the co-host here on Beyond the Booth, and our special guest tonight is one Mr. Wesley Coleman that carried Phil on the basketball court at the Transplant Games.
No.
So, Wesley Coleman, thanks for joining us tonight, man.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started.
All right. So I live in LA City, around close to Lake Martin. Have a wife and two boys. I spent 15 years teaching school, coaching football and tennis. Then I got a job where I played college tennis at CAT. That's about 5 minutes away from where I live. Then now I'm a teaching pro that in Sylacauga Park and Rec, and I'll also teach at Willow Point and the Ridge. That's on Country Club on Lake Martin. So.
Good deal. We're having you on here, like it's kind of joked around with a while ago. You was with Phil 4th of July weekend down in Birmingham for the Transplant Games, where it seemed like it was a great event, a great time had by everybody.
It was awesome. I mean, I didn't really know it went on. I found out about probably 6 months before it started. And listen, it's great. It's almost like we're a family now on Team Alabama. I mean, I'll do it as long as I can right now. So it was awesome.
Right. It's great to have you on here. Appreciate you taking the time out. And so the question that everybody is asking is, how is it to be a teammate of Phil Harris?
We played great. I mean, I know we scored the last game and get some rebounds and box out, and he was physical. He was.
That's his old 1984 state championship coming out in him being the offensive lineman there, the pulling guard. I think he was.
All right.
Phil, wasn't you a pulling guard back in the 84?
Well, actually, I played tackle. Had to pull some, but actually, I played tackle. But that was mostly what I did: getting away, set screens, and wreak havoc inside, push people out of the lane because they didn't call anything away from the ball, so I could shove who I wanted to, and they never called anything. So I got away with that a lot.
So you're like a modern day Dennis Rodman type, huh?
Bill Aimbeer.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Wesley down at Transplant Games, he won a gold and a bronze, gold in the tennis, I believe.
That's right. Yeah.
And then a bronze in the basketball. So we was kind of talking about before we went on the air, you found out about it just a few months ahead of time and all that. How much preparation did you put into this?
Basketball, none. I mean, I shot some. I coached my TNU team, my boys team in TNU, but they play with a girls' ball. So I shoot some, and just to scrimmage, just run up and down the court just to get exercise. But tennis, I mean, basketball, not much, but tennis, I mean, that's my job. So I don't play like matches, but I feed balls, I serve. So I was ready for tennis, no doubt.
Good deal. Yeah. Like I said before we went on there, we was talking about it, and you said on the drive, on the drive afterwards, you thought you may be cramping up some because of everything that went on that weekend.
I think I probably drunk on Monday that day, probably 5 gallons of water, Gatorades, all the stuff I got. I mean, it was in 24 hours, I played 4 basketball games and 3 tennis matches. That's a lot.
Regardless of what age, what condition, whatever, that is a lot, because you're always out I didn't realize it, but Phil mentioned that you was playing the tennis outside, 100 degrees during that time.
Well, yeah, I bet on the court, we played on hard court. So it was like 97 degrees outside, but on the court, it's probably 120. I mean, no breeze, blue skies, no breeze. I mean, it was hot. It was.
Right, absolutely. So I'm going to turn you over to Mr. Phil Harris, your teammate, your co-MVP there. I'm sure he's got a
Mhm.
bunch of questions for you. So Phil, take us away, buddy.
All right. Well, Wes, of course, welcome, because I know you grew up in Coleman County, went to school at West Point, and played athletics there. Of course, your wife is Danielle. How did y'all meet?
In Auburn. So
In Auburn, where you going to school?
yeah, but she's from Coleman too, but she went to Coleman High School, right? And Coleman High School and West Point really didn't get along back then. So I knew of her, but really didn't meet until Auburn. So
Yeah, of course, you graduated from Auburn. And of course, the interesting thing too is your family's season ticket holders to Auburn games. I think you told me y'all have 8 season tickets, and you've missed very few games since you have been an Auburn fan.
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say I'm 43. I'm gonna say home games maybe 5 or 6. That's all.
Yeah, that's amazing. But it's so fun to go. I know we're Randy and I are season ticket holders to Tennessee games, but it's the relationships you build going to games. I think a lot of times you look forward more to that sometimes than you do actually the games itself. You get to see the same people all the time, and you build up a certain friendships.
Oh, you sure do. I love it. I mean, I love the people around me. We had a good section. I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
It really, our football time is like a family event. So everybody goes. So my family, my brother's family, my mom and dad, my aunt and uncle. So we all go.
Yeah, because people, I don't think that people say, well, I can get more out of it watching it on TV, and I say, well, that means you don't go to games because there's so much more to see.
Right.
Even my wife, she looks as forward to going to the games as I do, because there's just so much you miss if you're sitting and watching.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah, Phil, Wes, I'm a season ticket member for the Falcons, and when I watch them from home, I have to watch what the camera shows, but when I'm there in person, I get to see the whole field. I can see what the quarterback missed and everything. And as far as y'all are talking about, I've made lifelong friends forever by sitting in the same seats I've sat in for all these years. So I understand what y'all are talking about.
Yeah.
Well, Wes, let's talk a little bit about, of course, into the time when you had to have a transplant, and of course you had no idea the health issues you had. You just all of a sudden had, I think it was 3 strokes, and found out you had an enlarged heart. And I know you told me you used to work out up to 6 times a week before all this happened. That just throws up an abrupt halt in your plans in life. I mean, you had to change gears.
Oh, yeah, no doubt I did. That's I started feeling bad about probably maybe 2 weeks before I had my first stroke, because I did a lot of what's it called? CrossFit. So, CrossFit, a lot of stuff are timed. And, when you run and work out, sometimes you get a good day, and sometimes you're just tired and a bad time. But it was constantly like down, my time down. So it was. I mean, listen, I was pretty healthy on the outside, and on the inside, I was that bad healthy. But I didn't. I'm not sick at all. Never was sick. I don't take any medicine. I do now. So it really just hit me like a ton of bricks. It did.
Yeah, I know it did. And of course, and you've got 2 sons also that are very important in your life. And all of a sudden this happens to you, and you find out you're going to have a heart transplant, everything changes. Of course, your wife, Danielle, I'm sure was a huge supporter for you, but you had those two sons to think about too, because you didn't want them to go along and be fatherless.
No, not at all. I mean, it was rough. It was. I think the hardest part in the hospital was just, being away from my family for sure. So it was hard. It was tough.
Yeah, did the hospital do a good job of keeping you positive? I know when I had my liver transplant, it was always positive. They never talked about the negative. We're going to concentrate on you getting better because you need that positive reinforcement. You're going to have your family there, and I know they meant a whole lot.
Yeah. Oh, they did. My doctors and nurses were wonderful. I mean, they were great. I never really got down on myself. That's not my personality. So always upbeat. So I try to stay there during the hospital for sure.
Yeah. Well, you talked about, and all this, and it was trial. How long was you on a waiting list before you got an actual heart?
17 days. 17
days. Well, that wasn't bad at all. One thing with mine, I was on that 6-month waiting list for my liver, but 5 days after I got on the actual list, it was 5 days, and they were calling me with a liver. So that, of course, do you know your donor family at all?
No, not yet. I know we haven't written a letter yet, but we're going to. I don't know when, but we are going to.
Yeah, I've written one. We haven't heard anything back, but we need to try again because it's been 4 years for me. Because a part of you or a part of that person lives inside of you, so you continue on your legacy. Do you feel like, I don't know my donor family, but I owe it to the person that gave me my liver, that gave me life. I owe it to their legacy to try to do everything positive I can do.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, it's kind of strange. I don't think about it much, but when I think the heart it was in my body right now. Was it in someone else's life 2 years ago? Makes you think. It does.
Yeah, well, it kind of puts life in perspective. I know it changed me a lot because you don't take any moment for granted. You want to try to do everything you can do positively as you can. You want to, I'm sure, cherish every moment with your wife, your children, and your family, because that can be taken away at any time.
You sure can. You're right, Phil. I mean, you're so right about that.
Can I ask a quick question, Wes? With having that new heart and everything, I know this is probably strange, but do you feel different having a different heart in there?
No. So I said someone asked me, it's been a while back, but really asked me the same question. But no, I don't feel any different inside my body. Just taking medicine. That's all I do, really.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Phil. I just wanted to ask while we was kind of on that subject. So
that's a good question. I mean, there's no. I had that question. Ask me, no doubt.
Yeah, because you're going to have to take all that medication. You always will. That's like I always have to. The one thing that I can tell you about having my liver, I don't feel any. Well, I do because I'm a lot healthier. But one thing is, every time I eat, just about every time I eat, I'm going to sneeze at least 2 times. And I always have wondered that. Yeah, I've always wondered that. And a person told me, they said, well, what it probably is you having a different liver probably changed your antihistamine levels. And so that's probably why that is. But it always gives me a reminder of who's inside of me, because I'll sneeze just about every meal.
Wow. Yeah. That's a good reminder. Almost no, I like that, really.
Yeah. Well, Wes, during the transplant games, we talked about this, and I was telling people when I got back, and we was talking about you won the tennis gold medal, and we talked about a little bit about off the air. It was probably 110, 120 degrees, and it was rough. And I know I saw you after you won your semifinal match and was going into the finals, and you were already exhausted. Basically, in that final game, it was a matter of a war of attrition. Just get the ball across the net.
It was. I mean, I was more skilled tennis player in my age bracket. I was, but take the skill out because it was so hot. Just get it in. Just get the ball in, and yeah, you have a chance. So
Yeah, I understand. Well, in basketball, of course, I signed up for basketball. And the only reason really I did is just in case we might have a team, because they told us we
thank
probably
goodness.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
And we never thought that we might have a team. Oh yeah, I found out the day of, or basically, or the day before. Yeah, we're having a basketball team. I was like, oh boy, I bit off more than I can. And then we ended up having to play 2 pretty rough games. Had to beat the same team twice to get to the
And they
medal
were
ring.
good too.
And yeah, they were really good. They were as good as the 2 teams that got to the finals.
Right.
Yeah.
They were good.
Well,
I mean, they were tough. They were buff. They looked like they played ball a lot. And it's going back to church league days when I played 10 years ago. That's how rough it was.
Yeah, well, the one thing that we had an advantage of is you 2 guys could take the ball to the basket, and you really didn't see that a whole lot on the other teams. They worked the ball well and shot well, but if you could take the ball to the basket, there was lanes to get easy buckets, and you 2 did that well.
Oh yeah, it was fun. I mean, I love basketball. I was a better tennis player in high school, but my heart was in basketball. I mean, I love it, and I always do. And we go to the Auburn basketball games, and we love basketball. So
yeah.
So let me ask both of y'all this: with the basketball going on, did y'all think it was going to be as rough as it ended up being?
no way, not me.
No.
I knew it would be like competitive for sure,
Right?
But I was not thinking like smack talk and like elbows and I mean it was rough. It was.
So you're telling us how Phil played. How about everybody else? Talking about the elbows and the smack talk. I know that's how Phil was playing, but how about everybody else?
Well, I'm talking about the other team.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the church league. I played in the church league one time before, and I thought, yeah, it'd just be a nice, easy game. Oh no, it was rougher than actually playing organized high school basketball.
Yeah. So that it was just like that.
Wow. So, while we was on the subject, I thought I'd throw that out there. Just see, Phil, did you think it'd be that rough as well?
No, I'm a physical type player, so I'll get in there and push people around, but they push back, and of course, anytime if anybody was going to get an easy basket, I was going to rape them and make sure they didn't get a layup. I fouled several times that way to make them earn it at the free throw line. So it was rough. I don't think there was any jaw talking back and forth to each other, but you could tell there's a lot of intensity on both sides.
There was one point, first game, probably the first 5 minutes, I posted up. I don't know what happened, but I didn't get the ball, but someone scored, they scored, and I got the ball up top. And the guy guarding me on the post said, "All right, man, you want to play rough? Let's play rough. Let's go." I said, "My God, this is serious. It is."
Yeah.
So y'all played actual full court basketball?
No, half court.
Okay.
It was 3-on-3, but we didn't have many substitutes.
Okay.
We had 5 players, one got hurt. And if we hadn't we actually only had 4. One got hurt, so we called another guy in and got him put on the roster. And if we hadn't, we'd have really been in trouble. He was a big help to us.
He was great.
Yeah, he was big, and especially in that last game. That I kept telling him, "This is your game," because he was up to the hole against them. Because I know you were worn out, Wes. Y'all did a lot of standstill shooting in especially the last game, because y'all just didn't have any legs left.
I didn't play any defense on Monday night. I mean, none at all. And I felt bad because if it would have gone hard, I probably would have went down on the court like Transplant. So there's no way I could do that. So,
I was surprised how well we did in that semifinal game. This team, they had like 8 players swapped in and out, had a couple of real good shooters. We were up 9 in the second half, and they hit a couple of lucky banked 3-pointers, or we would have been in the gold medal game.
Listen, I mean, probably right now, let's play right now. I want to say we play for gold if we play right now. But I was so dead, and you were so dead, and I mean, everybody was so dead. I mean, we were spent.
But it was a lot of fun that last game to win that bronze medal, though.
Oh, it was great. Yep.
So with the basketball, tennis, and all that, do they have a lot of medical personnel close by just in case?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, there's a lot of people around just in case. Yeah. You know, and the good thing too, Wes, I was watching about basketball. We had a whole lot of supporters. Your family was there, and some of my family was there. We had great support. You know,
we did.
And I don't that we were inspired by each other, but a lot of them that seemed like they were inspired by us, and we didn't really do anything but just go out there and play.
Yeah, just have fun. I mean, it's all about having fun and competing. That's all I want to do is compete. So,
yeah. Well, I told people after we won the medal, I was kind of telling them about it. And I said, well, I'll put it to you this way. We had two liver transplant recipients, 2 kidney transplant recipients, and a heart transplant recipient. So we already had a bond before we ever even stood on the court. But I think by the time we finished 4 games, it become like a brotherhood.
Oh, no doubt. That's why I said family. I mean, I think our team, Alabama, it's almost a family because, I mean, I loved every minute of it. I did.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of fun. Well, Wes, I want to talk. When you were recovering from your heart condition, did you ever? I know you was probably like me. You wanted to come back stronger or as good as you ever was. Was that a goal when you went through your heart transplant?
It was. I mean, I went day by day. I always looked at the positive, and so I did take it easy. I did not rush back, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it was. I tried real hard. I did.
Well, was Danielle, your wife, was she a big supporter of yours? Did she push you?
I pushed her
to get better. You pushed her?
No, yeah, she did. I mean, listen, in the hallway in the hospital, I probably walked 1 mile every day around the loop. And after the transplant, I went home, I think, in 5 days after the transplant, maybe. Yeah. Then we stayed in an apartment and for 6 weeks, and we walked probably 2 miles every day.
Yeah, it's my wife. I remember when I first had my transplant, they would want to come in and give me a bath because I couldn't hardly get up out of bed, and I refused. I got myself up somehow, some way, and got in the shower, and that felt like I was in an elevator when I was in the shower. But somehow I was going to do that, and my wife pushed me. We had to walk around the halls, and boy, I was in great deal of pain, but she pushed me to get better. And she's a nurse, so sometimes the feelings part of it. She was, no, you can do this. You're going to get up and do it because you're not going to get any better by just laying around. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that meant a lot. That's where your supporting cast is huge. And how was your boys in this? I know they were concerned about their dad, but how are they a help to you?
Oh, big help. I mean, they come up and saw me. So at that time, our boys really wasn't allowed on the floor I was on, but they, the nurses made it work. So I might probably saw my boys every 2 weeks in the hospital. But I talked to them. Back then, I mean, I could not talk. I tried to talk, but yeah, we saw them. We spoke to them, and me and Danielle would be in the hospital, put them on FaceTime. So we would speak, and I know it was rough. It had to be rough on them for sure. But luckily,
Yeah, definitely.
my mom and dad live like 10 minutes on the lake from here. So really, my mom and dad took the boys in.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was great. Guys, like I said, it takes a family to get through this. You have to
Right.
have that supporting cast, and and that means a whole lot. And that puts life into perspective too, how important your family really is. That you should never take them for granted.
No, never.
Yeah. Well, Wes, I know we had talked about this. I know you had done some work for the Alabama Radio Network, doing some basketball and football during the championship times. But when you
Yep,
had your stroke, and you told me this was probably the hardest part for you, you had to basically learn how to speak again
I did.
and had to go through therapy.
Sure did. So my second stroke has affected my speech and my process in my brain. So yeah, I know what I wanted to say, but could not say it. And I mean, I could not.
Yeah. So
I
I
could
guess.
not talk at all.
Yeah. Are you planning to try to get back to doing more stuff back with the? I know you said you had backed away and basically was doing statistics or something like that for the football during the Super 7. Are you going to try to get back into that again?
Yeah, I mean, I did it this past year because I coached football at Ben Russell for almost 15 years, and when I didn't quit that, but when I got a new job as a teaching pro, I still did it. So this past year, I did speak. I mean, yeah, I did not speak as much as once before, but yeah, I did talk and speak. So now I probably won't ever do the Final Four basketball games again. I mean, I'll miss that for sure, but that's all right.
Yeah. Well, it just changes course. Well, how you talk about getting into, you got a teaching job as a pro, that took you away from actually the education. Who do you actually work for?
Well, I work for the Park and Rec, which is actually a state job, and really that's the only reason why I took this job. So I spent 15 years teaching school and just transferred over to the state as a teaching pro. So
Yeah, well, that's good. Of course, you still coach. I mean, I know you coach your son in basketball and the rec leagues and that type of thing. So you're big time involved in that type of thing. So really,
yeah,
I guess in a sense, you've got a job you love doing.
I do. I love it. So I coached our 10U football team last year, and probably the same thing on the fall again. And I coached basketball, Park and Rec. So I used to coach baseball. My oldest son played baseball forever. Now he's in high school now, so I don't coach baseball anymore. But I'm still football and basketball for sure.
Well, Wes, I know you and I both were a part of the Transplant Olympics, and I heard about it about a year before it started, and I kind of got involved in some of the fundraising and that type of thing, tried to help out that way. But it's a wonderful thing. I'm glad that people like Stan and Lil and the whole bunch have kept this going, because I didn't realize how special it was until we got there. The opening ceremony when the transplant, the donor families came in, it was very emotional.
It was, I've been interviewed a lot since the Transplant Games, and I know I love to compete. I love to win. I mean, that gold medal was awesome. The bronze medal in basketball was awesome. But the thing I'll remember the most is the opening ceremonies for sure. I mean, last people that walked in, I mean, the donors' families have pictures up. They're crying, but they're also giving us hugs, high fives. I mean, it was real emotional for sure. Almost too much.
Did you get in on much of the pin trading?
So I got some pin trading, and I think next year or 2 years ago, you know, I will for sure. I mean, I really didn't know about pin trading until like the week of. So I know what it's about now. So yeah, I'll do it next time. But
Yeah,
I got some, but not many.
Hey, don't
yeah.
leave us that don't know about it hanging. Be a little bit more in depth
Oh,
about
yeah,
this
Phil,
pin
you got
trading.
it.
Well,
Yeah.
we will. Well, what it is a pin trade. Each team has their own pin, like from whatever state. And some teams are not states. Like we played basketball against that Midwest team, and they were from the St. Louis area, but they have their own pins, and they're like hat pins. And you trade them. And what ends up really happening, what makes it great, is like you'll trade a Tennessee pin for an Alabama pin, but you get a story. You get to talking to the person, and you find out what their story is, what their transplant was, and that makes it a little bit extra special. So then you go around and start getting pins from everybody, and you get stories, and it's usually people you would never talk to.
Right.
So how many pins did you get per person? Say, like Phil, how many pins did you get?
Well, here is Chrissy got me. This is pins I got. They came from. Well, we had, of course, I had Alabama pins, and there's Oklahoma. I got one from the guy that was from Australia. I didn't get Hawaii. There was just from just about, we got, well over half of the pins. We kind of run out of time. There's one from Nevada that was looks like a machine, a gambling machine. And then you had the Tri-County, where what was it, Chrissy? The pin that was the three horse races, Kentucky, the Belmont Stakes, but their pins were of the Triple Crown from those stakes. But you trade, these were the pins that we traded, and but it was a lot of fun, and it added a lot of stories.
So once you got there, did they give you like a bag of Alabama pins, and y'all just went around and traded them with everybody? Okay,
I
cool.
want to say we got 25 probably pins. About
I think it was around 45. I think it was 45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
I think it's
for sure.
Yeah. We had some left over, but that was just a neat part of it. And getting to, and that way you had conversations with people you normally wouldn't talk to.
Yeah.
And of course, finding out the stories also, Wes, I know of the other people that we competed with, kind of like in the basketball, you kind of got to know each other and found out what your stories were. And, and God puts us in, you think back and you go, God put us here for a reason. And that's like playing basketball. We were put there for a reason. I don't think any of us really knew if we was even going to have a basketball team, but we were put there for a reason.
Yeah, no doubt. It's kind of odd. So most of the time, let's say you walk out on the basketball court, what do? You call, what's your name? Where are you from? Right? We did that, but the first question was, what's your donor? I mean, what's your what's it called? Organ. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
What's your organ? And then we started talking, and our heart, and what do you have? You know what I mean? So that was kind of different for sure.
Yeah, different. Yeah, for sure. And of course, that's like I say, that you automatically had something in common, and you kind of bonded in that way because it was a special moment. Of course, winning that bronze medal. I think once we got our medals, and we were all three. We were like kids. Just about in that bronze medal little ceremony we had. And I know it was just amongst our family, but we were all like kids again.
Yeah. I'm glad our family was there. I mean, that's what I want. I mean, I want my family and your family and everybody else's family to see it. So it was fun. It was.
Yeah. And of course, and even though, I mean, you were glad for the other guys. I know late in the ball game, we played our final game. There was two guys that hadn't scored, and we kept telling them, shoot the basketball. you know, because they hadn't scored in the game. I said, you need to score, you know, because I told one old boy. And I told him, I said, you need to score. And so they finally got him a basket. And I was glad for him. And it meant a lot to him because he didn't realize how much it meant just to score a basket.
And I think the crowd went wild for his team, like cheering on. They did. I mean, it was, you know, it was so much fun. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was. Well, Wes, in the future, are you planning? I know you kind of mentioned about it. Are you planning to go in the future to games in the future?
Oh, no doubt. I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'm all in.
I think, of course, it'll be 2020.
It's not too far. I mean, would I travel out to LA to play tennis? I'm not sure. But I heard, I don't know if you know it, if you have they said where the second or the next one is going to be?
No, they really don't know. There's a lot involved. Now, one guy from Indiana was talking to me, and we were just talking. We was coming out of a restaurant, and he heard some rumor. Somebody told him. Of course, this is probably not true, but it's just the only person I heard say anything about it. Is possibly it could be Boston, Massachusetts in 2 years.
That's
what he heard, but I hadn't heard it.
What I heard.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything else other than that.
Yeah, I think.
Of course, I asked Stan about it. He said he didn't have any idea.
Yeah, but I'm all in. I mean, if I can make it work, I'm going to make it work.
Yeah, definitely so. Well, Wes, do you feel like now that part of your life from here on is to inspire others? I know kids you've coached and kids you've been a part of, your family, your children, you know, they have to be inspired by your story. Does it make it seem a little extra special to you that, you know, people kind of look at you in a different regard because you've overcome adversity and somehow, some way have gotten back to a quality of life?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I mean, but before my surgery, I mean, heart transplant, that's my goal all the time. I mean, I hope my goal hasn't changed at all. So just being around kids, trying to do the right thing, you know, that's how I live. So I try to at least.
Well, what kind of coach are you? Are you a coach that really pushes hard? Are you encouraging? Do you feel like you're a good teacher? What kind of coach are you?
I hope everything what you talked about, I hope I do pretty good. I mean, I think you got to do everything you said. I mean, you got to be a good teacher. What the skill you're doing, and I want to say I'm a motivator for sure. Usually when the kids get down, they don't play good, so try to keep the kids up, and so that's probably what I do on coaching wise.
Well, the times I've been around you, one thing I will say this is you're a very intense person. You're a very focused person, and I'm sure the kids learn from that.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I mean, like I said, I love to compete, and sometimes I like to play better people, and if playing better people makes me better and makes the kids better. So that's all you get better, is competing at a higher level for sure.
Well, I just want to ask you a couple of questions. If we jump in the vehicle, jump in the truck with you, what kind of music are we going to be listening to?
Oh, so probably country and probably Christian music.
Country,
that's what I got on my speed dial. So
now let me ask this, Phil, real quick. Is it country, or is it this new age country?
I don't know. I just listen to the radio. So it's probably a mixture of both.
Okay.
Well, let's talk a little bit. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about your wife. What is her favorite movie?
Oh man, favorite movie. Listen, we really don't watch many movies. We don't have time to watch any
Yeah.
movies. Favorite movie. All right.
You didn't know it
I
was going
think,
to be a test, did you, Wes?
yeah, I think I would say the proposal.
The Proposal.
Yeah,
What did if she wanted? Does she like the Hall? If she watches TV, does she like the Hallmark Channel?
yeah, she does. Right now, we have it
Yeah,
on Everybody Loves a Raymond.
everybody loves Raymond. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
But she does.
Well,
Yeah, she does Hallmark Channel. But I'm lucky because my wife loves sports, so like a sports movie too. So like Rudy,
yeah,
Hoosiers,
yeah. That's what I was going to ask you. What's your favorite sports movie of all time?
probably Hoosiers.
Probably Hoosiers. Yeah, I
Probably,
guess since you're a
probably
big basketball fan, I can say that.
Probably so.
Yeah,
I mean,
I can
I
see
love
that.
Rudy too. I love Rudy too, but probably Hoosiers for sure. Sports maybe.
Probably Hoosier fan. Well, tell us a little bit about Danielle. I know she's been a great supporting cast for you. I know she communicated with us a lot while we were playing basketball. Now, tell us what she means to you.
Means the world, right? I mean, my gosh, I'm lucky. Um, a godsend for me. It really was. God knew the plan for her when she showed me when I met her for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. That's great. And, and we've talked about this, God puts us in certain places for certain reasons. And sometimes you have to go through the things like we had to, because he has a plan for all of us. He puts us in a spot where he wants us to be. I've even asked, it's like doing what I do. He just says, continue, he'll tell you, continue the path you're on and your riches will come in the future. Because he has a certain path he wants us to be on. Sometimes there's up, sometimes there's down, but
Yeah.
definitely you're not going to get complacent because he's going to throw little tests at you.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, my journey. I mean, God has been preparing me for my journey for a long time, and no doubt, my wife, my family. I mean, it was godsend for sure.
Yeah. Well, Wes, we want to thank you for coming on. We've enjoyed the conversation. If there's anything you want to add, shout out to anybody, thank anyone. I know I'm looking forward to the Transplant Games in the future. The managerial staff that was all Stan Smith and Lael and all of them, did a wonderful job of making it special for us and kind of giving us, up front of what we was going to expect. And I wasn't prepared for the opening night because that was huge. Of course, they said there was going to be a lot of tears involved, but they did a great job of making it special for us, and I was just glad we were able to go compete.
Me too. I mean, listen. I mean, that's a big event, and it was so well organized. I mean, that took. That's a lot of work they did, and Stan and Leah. I mean, they were awesome. That they did a lot behind the scenes that people probably didn't never know they did. So, I mean, awesome leaders for sure, and I'm looking forward to it in 2 years. I'm ready to go right now.
Yeah. It'll get here before you know it. But yeah, I'm looking forward. I told me and my wife both already before that was even over with. We need to plan to go to the next games, no matter where they are. Somehow, some way, we're going to plan it.
Oh, me too. I mean, no doubt. I know my wife will probably say the same thing. So
I don't think I'll sign up to play basketball 2 nights, tennis for the next day, and
well,
basketball the next night. I hope they kind of change that up a little bit.
and also, I I was lucky that I played tennis because I wanted to play doubles. So that's what I wanted to play because I know singles. I mean, 40 and over. I mean, I like singles, but I want to play doubles, and so I almost didn't not sign up for singles, and only signed up for doubles, and doubles didn't take. So really got lucky, but I hope they spread the tennis and basketball out some.
Yeah, that would be nice. But see, when I first did, I had signed up for singles tennis, and I was going to play team golf, but didn't have team golf. But I could have played doubles tennis, which would have probably been better for me to not played singles and maybe just went and played singles golf and then played doubles tennis. But it didn't work out, and it was hard to once you signed up for something, it was hard to change.
Yeah, really couldn't. I would want to. I mean,
Yeah.
I think some people wanted to, but man, it was tough to do that.
Yeah. Well, Wes, we want to thank you for coming on. I know he wants to add a couple questions, and like I say, if there's any shout outs you want to give to anybody, we sure appreciate you coming on and being with us. We're blessed by getting your story. Because a lot of people out there need to understand how important it is. And of course, the most important thing, we haven't talked about this, is people signing up for, to be organ donors, because you and I are here for that reason. If it wasn't for somebody else, we may not be here today.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, I didn't know what it meant, when I was 16 years old, but I do now. And, before the football games in Auburn, basketball games in Auburn, there's always a commercial that Hugh Freeze, Bruce Pearl, I'm a organ donor, and it's kind of it does save lives for sure.
All right, Howie, if you want to wrap us up.
Yeah, Wes. So just a few questions real quick. Did you have your surgery in Birmingham as well?
I did. Yep. Dr. Hoops. Really, Dr. Hoops is the heart transplant doctor, but Dr. Hoops and Dr. Sammy is actually the one that did it, but Dr. Hoops was in there. So
it's kind of ironic with you being a big basketball fan and your doctor being Dr. Hoops.
Haven't thought about that. You're right.
So I'm a little disappointed in y'all. Here y'all are, Transplant Game medal winners, but yet you come on the show without wearing your medals to show them off. The Olympics starts on Friday night. In 3 weeks, all these Olympic athletes are going to be back over here in the States. They're going to be on all these TV shows. And when they walk out, what are they going to have? They're going to have their medals on. Why do y'all not have y'all's medals on here tonight?
Oh, I'll start. That's not me. I mean, it is. I mean, I'm not kidding. I mean, I don't like to show off. I think if I do wear a medal on this podcast, I was like, I'm showing off, but that's not me. So really, Danielle just said my medals are packed up to do new houses this weekend. So.
Yeah. Hey, well, I understand. I understand, Wes. I mean, it's a part of you, and it's a story to tell, but it's not what identifies you. I won a state championship in football and have a ring, but I don't ever wear it because that's not really who I am. What was important in those things was the relationships you build and the friendships you build and the memories you build are way more valuable than that medal.
Oh, you're right.
So, that stuff ends up getting put in a drawer. But Chrissy did bring this medal out. This is the bronze medal from.
There you go.
Yeah, it was in, but that's the bronze medal from basketball. But yeah, Wes, I feel the same way. It's not what identifies you as an individual.
No, I was on 3340 like 2.5 weeks ago one morning, and they told me to wear my medals. So I did wear it, but I didn't want to.
I think I wore mine that night, and that was it. I didn't even, I took it off when I got back to the hotel room.
Yeah.
It's more about me just giving y'all a hard time. I got to pick at y'all somehow, especially Phil. So, you know, he's been on here. He's been on here several times, and that's the first time we saw the medal. Thanks, Miss Chrissy, for making Phil show it.
Yeah.
Hey,
So,
Hal, just for a reference, I'm wearing a good conduct bucket I found in the gas station this morning, so I'm gonna wear it all day. And if I could put it on the air, I would. Some people don't accomplish much, so they hold on to what they can get. So my good conduct medal is going to be my claim.
That's funny.
yeah. Well, actually, Wes, if you knew Randy, he's probably still got the same little smiley face he got from kindergarten on his shirt he wears every day.
Yeah.
So,
No doubt. It's boxed up somewhere.
so, hey, I don't know if y'all know the answer to this or not, but let everybody know how they could become a donor. Do y'all know how?
Yeah, I mean, just go to the DMV. You know, if you're not, just to go to the DMV and just put it on your license. They're going to ask you the question about it, and you can say yes or no. So if you're say yes, I think you have a heart on their license, I believe. So you just go to the DMV, and they can get it done.
Howie,
I think you can also go on the Legacy of Hope.
Yeah.
And the Legacy of Hope, and sign up that way, because it doesn't necessarily have to be on your license. If you're signed up, you can do it through, any kind of computer. I'm sure there's a lot of places you can get it done. And of course, through your license now, I think you can even do your license online.
You can. Yep.
Yeah.
Hey,
All right, Randy.
I know we have a lot of listeners in Tennessee. On the back of the license in Tennessee is a living will that you can sign and mark you want to be a donor, and it is considered a legal document. And if you sign it and mark it, and it is that way on your license, you are a donor in the state of Tennessee.
Oh, great.
Awesome.
Well, I like that.
Yeah. Since y'all have had transplants, are y'all able to donate afterwards as well?
I think so.
I would think so. I'm still on the donor registry. I'm sure, because I had a heart cath done, and they told me my heart was perfectly fine, and I'm 57. Somebody probably could use a heart eventually. I don't know about anything else, but and I'm sure with the new liver I have, it's 20 years younger than I am.
Yeah.
57, Phil. My gosh.
Yeah. Well, I was 53 when I had my transplant, and my donor was 33. So that's the only thing I know about him. I don't know nothing else.
All I know is, was it 30? No, 20, 28. I had a 28 heart in me. So, and I'm back then I was 42. No, 41.
Howie, can I ask Wes a question real quick?
Buddy, you on RiverCity-Media. You can do whatever you want to.
Hey, Wes, just since you're an Auburn guy and you talk about love of sports, tell people your impressions of Bruce Pearl, because I think he's one of the most. I'm a Tennessee graduate, and Bruce was one of the most special people to me in the world. And the fact he used to sit down and kneel and pray during prayer inductions, he's a one of a kind.
Oh man, we're lucky to have him. We do. When we hired Bruce Pearl, man, I got excited because I knew what coach he is, and I learned throughout the process, him being in Auburn, what type of man he is. So he's a family man. We're lucky to have him, no doubt. I mean, he's awesome.
I had the experience. I have a 14-year-old daughter where he came outside an alumni event and prayed with me and my soon-to-be my ex-wife, but my wife, when our child was being born, and he's just one of the most special coaches in the nation.
He is. So probably, I think about 9 months out of my transplant, me and my son, my 9-year-old son, we went to the basketball camp. What's it called, Daniel? Yeah, Father Son basketball camp. And when I say we loved it, it was awesome. And actually, we got Bruce Pearl and me did an article together about my time there being a heart transplant list. So yeah.
That's awesome. Howie, thank you for letting me get in there real fast.
Hey, no problem. I'm going to close this out real quick. One final question. Wes, Phil, seem like y'all are going to be lifelong friends from here on out.
Yeah.
Auburn fan, Tennessee fan, when they roll around that week when they play each other, will there be some trash talking going on that week? Will there be some trash talking text?
I mean, they could. Probably depends on how Auburn season is going. I know Phil now. Phil has got it going right now. They were down a long time, but now they're rolling. So now when Auburn rolls, and I think it's going to come. I don't know about this year, but I mean, I don't mind trash talking on the text.
Well, maybe, yeah. Well, maybe the next time that Tennessee comes to Auburn, we'll get tickets and be sure we come. We meet up with you while we're down there. We've came before. I know the last time we were down there, we were set first seat in the upper deck, and when the Eagle flew, I could have spit on it.
Really?
Down, from the top. Yeah, I could have spit on it. It went right by me. And but that's one of the traditions of football. Because I used to go to Auburn when I was out of high school. We used to go a lot. And the two major things at Auburn was their student section was unreal fun. And then the eagle flying was two of the best traditions I ever seen at Auburn. That was the two things I really looked forward to every time I would go.
I think the last time I went to Tennessee football game, it was Cadillac and Ronnie Brown were playing, and I think we won that game. It was close, but yeah.
It was 38-20, and you did win. So let's move on subject.
What is that? 20 years ago, me? I don't know. It's been a while.
And you beat us again. You beat us twice in 1 year.
We did. Yeah, you're right.
Let's stop talking about that. Let's move on.
Sorry.
Wes, we appreciate you joining us tonight. Sorry we kept you so long.
No, I mean, I was enjoying it. Yeah.
You're welcome back anytime.
Right.
Even though you're a friend of Phil's, I guess we can consider you a friend of us. I mean, if you can put up with him, you can put up with anybody. So thanks for being on the show with us tonight. And go ahead. I nearly closed out before I asked you any shout outs that you want to give out to anybody.
No, not really. Just, the team, our team, and from our Alabama team, just the leaders on it. And, I'm ready for football. I'm ready for the fall. I'm done with the summer. So I'm ready for the fall, no doubt.
Absolutely. Appreciate you joining us, Wes. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
So for Phil Harris, Wesley Coleman, the gold medal and the bronze medal winner at the Transplant Games, I'm Howie Chaney. Thanks for joining us on Beyond the Booth. Good night and God bless everybody.
Thank you so much, Wes.
Thank you.
That I had a good conduct medal on, so I'd like to get that in too.
Randy's tickled about that good conduct medal that he found in some restroom